I'd like to thank the men of the congregation for allowing me to speak not one last time, hopefully, but another time. Of course, want to thank God for giving me the ability to speak. And I want to thank you all for being here this evening. I was trying to find a topic that I can speak upon, and some of us may know that I have a lot of ideas, and so I'll jot something down, and when I start filling it out, I'll get distracted or something and start a new one and get a new idea. Then I'll start that and probably get a new idea, and I'll start another one. So I have a lot of incomplete topics that I have on my computer right now, but this one I feel I was really deep to my heart, and I hope I can share it with you. Came across a survey done last year by the Barna Group. They do a lot of religious surveys, and they found that whopping 76% of churchgoers don't even know what the Great Commission is. 51% have never even heard of it. That is truly saddening to me. I hope that it is saddening to you. I know this is a broad Christian topic, goes by everyone in Christianity, but I've noticed a trend here in the Brotherhood as well. So I'm hoping to at least give us some ideas of what we can do to maybe fulfill that overlooked commandment of the Bible. Jesus said, "The harvest is truly plentiful, but the laborers are few." When his disciples heard that, they didn't know at first what he meant, but having the completed word, we know that it means to go to preach. The Great Commission, we know, is as before Jesus ascended, said to go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature, but apparently we aren't. And many churches are closing down, and many are leaving the faith, probably because of it. And so I'm hoping to maybe energize us to get back into the evangelism spirit. Before I do that, most of you already know who I am, but for those who don't, I did grow up here, this very building actually. Grew up in the church, didn't go to any Christian university or preaching school. I just enjoy preaching the word, so I'm very glad to be able to come up here every time I do, and I enjoy each time I do. Most of you know I'm a family man as well when I'm at home, but a lot of times I feel I have a more creative mindset. A lot of people do actually. About half usually go for the analytic side or a creative side. I find myself more on the creative side. I realized this at a very early age. Maybe not realized it, but I realized it more so recently. But I began looking at playing cards, and I enjoy, playing games and playing cards, but I noticed they were all the same. And so I used to create my own. As you can see, some of these are my own art, and just kind of took some stuff off the computer and just kind of made my own decks. That led me, of course, to create games and things, and so I have that kind of background. That kind of started writing articles for the bulletin, for my Facebook page, just trying to get some kind of word out there. And of course, that led me on to creating little comics for people. Not sure if you can read, but this one says, is a magician, and he says, "And now for my next trick, I will attempt to pull a hat out of this rabbit." So just kind of some silly little comics that can make people laugh. This, of course, led me to writing some books and being able to publish those as well. And now, before people start questioning, I'm not plugging my work or anything. I'm just showing the talents that God has given me and how I've been able to utilize them and hopefully use that for evangelistic purposes. And so I want to use my creativity and be able to, well, I know a lot of people will monetize that. A lot of people make a job with just their creative minds. And I had thought about that and realized no more than like 5 minutes after that thought, what would make this ideal is if I can use my creativity to further the work of God and to help others who are maybe have some ideas and help them evangelize and maybe get the word out to them. So, again, not a lot of people are doing this, so I'm hoping to maybe energize us and give us some ideas that we can get back into it. One brother told me he knows that when a church is dying is when they're lacking in evangelism, as I was researching this. So I'm hoping to prevent that with, some others. A couple of disclaimers before I begin. One, I am not saying that here at River Road we are not good at evangelism. I actually believe we are doing a pretty good job right now. I'm just one member of the body, seeing a problem in the world today, in the Christian world, and hoping I can maybe solve that problem if I can. Number two, these ideas are, not guaranteed to work, of course. That's not what I'm here for. This isn't some foolproof plan that we can get more members, but this is just to give us an idea of, how to get the ball rolling and to get those conversations started with others, that we can have those conversations and maybe grow this kingdom for God. And that's basically what it comes down to, is just talking to people. If we're not willing to talk to people, we're going to be it's a really bad idea, and we're going to be not doing too hot, and that's when we start to dwindle down. But most people are extroverts and they can just talk to anyone. I try to identify as an introvert. Most people, though, are kind of both. But if you're an extrovert, great. Talk to anyone you can. But these ideas, just start with people you know, family, friends, people you're most comfortable with. This doesn't have to be some huge, ordeal. Just start with those you're most comfortable with. But of course, we have the most powerful message out there that we need to share with others. So some of those the best results will happen outside of your comfort zone. So you may have to go outside of that zone that you have. But how can we talk to others? I actually found this quote also: a church that does not evangelize will fossilize. And so I'm hoping, of course, we can prevent that from happening. Some examples, a lot of people I found have been pretty open to, social experiments. So I just tell them I'm conducting a survey, and I survey a lot of people. This is a good tool to have them open up to you and just ask them questions, if they're religious at all, what they think about what's going on in the world today, how they feel about it. Just have them open up to you, that you can get a feel for them if you want to go any further than that. Another simple way is just Monday morning, ask people how their weekend went. A lot of times they'll answer, and they'll give their answer, response to that, and most of the time they'll respond back to you and ask you how your weekend was, and you can say you were working, or this church services was wonderful, and that will kind of open up the doors to allow them, they'll ask maybe where you go or what you believe in, and so that's a good way to open up, get them to open up. And of course, who doesn't love food? A lot of times, we just had our fellowship dinner today, but just invite someone over. If you know that a lot of people love food. Brother Austin was pretty big on that. Loves food, and who doesn't? Good conversations we have around just meals that we can have together. Maybe invite them for, a snack or something. You can even mention the Lord's Supper we have. Get a Bible verse in there. Tell them, maybe they'll ask you why we observe the Lord's Supper every week, and we'll allow the Bible to speak where that is spoken, and allow the Bible to teach us and tell us, because that's what the first century church was doing. Another one, a game that my family and I like to play whenever the clock is, or any kind of number being displayed, is displaying our birthday. We'll say happy birthday, even if it's not our birthday. But we can do that with Bible verses too. Say the time is 3:16. Tell someone about John 3:16. Let them know about it. It's a very well-known verse. Or maybe challenge yourself and tell them about 2 Timothy 3:16, and tell them why you believe the Bible is inspired of God. One way seems to be growing is social media and the internet. And if we don't have a website, we're going to be left behind. Sad to say, but it's the way the technology is going. A lot of people have an internet presence. You don't want to be antisocial. That's one of the better ways, at least today, that many people are evangelizing this way. One brother I actually talked to just has an Instagram with his church, and he's actually doing really well with it, being able to evangelize through that media form. It's just a great way to reach the world. Of course, there is a lot of bad on the internet. We know that, but just like everything, we want to be the good example. We want to have that good presence to show and to maybe overpower some of that evil that's out there. These you'll probably notice out in the foyer. I started making these just along with the business cards we have out there. They're just business-sized cards. Just have a thought-provoking, question or statement, or maybe a Bible verse on it. Just hand these out to people you know. Something I do is whenever someone asks where I go, I don't even tell them. I just hand them one of these because it has the church's information on the back of it. Just saying, if you're ever in the area, just let me know and stop on by. Some of them can get a little silly, as some of these, but one that I use a lot is most people don't really know what the Church of Christ is, so let's use that to our advantage. I put on there, we've heard of the Methodist Church or the Catholic Church, but have you ever heard of the Church of Christ? And I give the Bible verses and just, hand them out to people. Another one I've been doing, I noticed some graphics that I was doing on my website or Facebook page. Those can be used as, cards. I call them seed cards, where they're here to plant the seed. So just hand them out to people. You can even just put these out, maybe at a gas station or a library next time you're there. Just drop one in, or wherever your coffee shop. Just set it down on the table and see who picks it up. Here's another one. Just reasons to believe. Reasons why Jesus is different than most of the other religious deities out there, quote unquote, and why Christianity is different from most of them. These were a trend about a couple years ago. I don't know if they still are. I haven't been keeping up. These are called kindness rocks. People just use rocks and they'll paint, some kind of positive message or something on there. I know I have seen a couple of Bible verses on there. We can use one of those and put maybe the church's information on the back of them and see. One thing that's good with these is, as opposed to the cards, is you can put these anywhere depending on what paint you use. They can go in the rain or outside, and they won't get damaged like the paper would. So this is one that I have found a little effective. This one, new movers to the area. This is a big thing churches are doing right now. There's actually a website that will custom make like postcards and things that you can send to people new to the area. I know that actually House of House is starting something like that as well. We can utilize that. They'll give you, they'll send out people in the area around you, maybe, that have just moved here or whatnot. You can also go door knocking, house to houses. I don't know if anyone has seen it, but they posted on Facebook. They're doing a door knocking event. Brotherhood Worldwide, I believe, is October 5th. If you want to join that as well. A lot of people don't like to do door knocking though, so maybe having something like a door hang something on their door or something for you more introvert people out there. But door knocking is a really good way. The Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses use it. They find it pretty effective, actually. We can always donate something. We know everyone needs something. If you're just having clutter in your house and you just want to get rid of stuff, there's a lot of donation centers out there. Maybe, put a business card or something in books. Something I've seen recently as a book stand. I guess it's called Pick a Book, Leave a Book. A lot of parks and things have it. It's just like a newspaper stand, and you just pick your book or whatever, and then you can leave a couple if you want. A lot of people need clothes. You can always, share with others, maybe have something here, or just if you have to get rid of something. People are always looking for those kind of things. And of course, again, everyone loves food. We can, someone needs, in the hospital or they're sick in bed, just show them you care, and maybe make a dish or bring a snack or something for them that maybe you can talk to them, and that'll open up a conversation as well. First responders we know that, they're out there utilizing their lives to save our lives, and, sometimes they just need a helping hand as well. Maybe, I know we do the cookies for firefighters here. Maybe if you see a police officer, give them a bottle of water or something. Another one I've thought of, maybe your garbage men or mail carrier, or just people we have, are in contact with every day. Maybe they need someone to talk to, and just to give, something and show them that we're here. Maybe they can come and visit us. Of course, like the cards, you can send out a greeting card. Maybe someone is sick in the hospital, or maybe some of our home people in the homes, they just need something to read. Maybe send out a card. Of course, spiritually ill, they need to know that we're there too. We can always send them something. But this is for like family members, maybe don't know, and just give them like a verse to read or something to get something in their heads, and maybe that could start a conversation as well. One that I saw that was pretty neat, going to a local bakery or diner, and I saw that maybe give like $50 to whoever, the first 10 customers, and ask them if of course, if you know someone who owns like a small business or something, and just have them ask if they want the church to pay for their meal. And a lot of times, if they say yes, they can, maybe give them the business card with their meal or something, and tell them that, this was paid for by, the local church. So that is also one way to try and get the word out. Of course, there's always events and fairs that are happening. I know a lot of churches rent a booth out. This is probably for the ones that have a little bit more money than some of the smaller ones, but it's a great way to get out into your local community and to see who's out there. You can hand out the seed cards or some kind of card or pamphlet that we have, and just start striking up conversation and handing out these things that you can get striking up a conversation as well. Of course, television and movies are a big thing these days. A lot of, especially the superhero genre, is a huge thing right now. And a lot of them just, have that moral of the story. If you're sitting with your friend or something, you ask them, or maybe like the younger kids, ask them, why was that villain bad? Or why was good overcome? Just trying to get their take on it and trying to preach that good always overcomes evil, and just to get their opinion on it. Or you can just simply tell them about Jesus, who essentially was a superhero. He was able to heal the sick and raise the dead and instantaneously. So we could tell them about that and just let them know that he is there and the church is here, and just evangelize to them. But of course today, I know our attention spans are like 5 seconds now. So most people are pretty oblivious to even our lifestyles. And so sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes we can just, put a message out there on our shirt or something. I know we have, here at River Road, we've done t-shirts as well. But even just wearing some kind of Christian message on your shirt will get people to ask, why are you wearing that, or what do you believe? And then we can let them know, why we believe what we believe, and hopefully get that conversation started. Another one I saw was another door-to-door one, just asking people what they're thankful for. Just take a survey, see what people are thankful for. A lot of people today especially probably aren't thankful for a lot, but it's good to get that, at least one or two things in there, and we can tell them where our blessings come from, and tell them about God, and to show others what we're thankful for. Him sending his son to die in our stead would be a great way to strike up that conversation. There's also, I know we've done something like a good deeds program, go out of the community and just ask people what they need help with, just to see if they need helping hands somewhere. We're always willing to give a hand out there. One that I've been working on, I call a holiday devotional. Maybe tell something, we could always go into how holidays originated and things, but something that I've found, say Valentine's Day for instance here, the holiday of love. Everyone talks about love these days. I think I heard somewhere that it's the number one word in like song titles. So everyone's already talking about it, but do they know where love comes from? Do they know about God and Him loving the world so much that He gave His only begotten Son to die for each and every one of us? Or Halloween. For many, it's a pretty scary holiday, ghosts and demons, but we know that demons are in the Bible. Do they know that even the demons believe and tremble? Even the demons were there. They knew He was the Son of God when He was casting the demons out of these people, and while Jesus was walking on this earth. Do they know about that? Or maybe Independence Day. We know that's our freedom from British rule, but do they know that they can be freed from their sins? Just some things to have them think about, during these festivities going on. So these are just some examples. We know that there's tons more, but hopefully we can just get our minds going and to see that there is a lot of ideas out there. Sometimes we just got to get creative. There's a lot of churches have like nursing home ministries and prison ministries, maybe sheltered ministries. I know we've done that recently. We have the Rap House for runaway kids. We can probably do something there. One I was looking for, as I was researching, one church had on their sign doubting night, and they just all on the sign was having doubts, so do we. So they just had a separate Bible study for people who just have questions about the Bible and what Christianity is all about. So I'm here to challenge you, and me too, to try and get out there and to maybe pick one of these or two, or maybe you have one of your own. I'm always open for suggestions. We can get that word out there and to show people that the church is here and it is there for them. Another quote I found while I was doing research, someone said, "A church that does not reach out to its community is not a church, it's a country club." And that's what we're trying to avoid. We're not some, fraternity that only a select few can get in. This is open for everyone. And so maybe find your talents, maybe something you're good at, and utilize that to glorify God and to show them what He's all about and what Jesus was all about. I know for me, my books, people ask me about my books or my novel, and I tell them, I'll usually ask what genre it is. Tell them it's Christian science fiction, and that opens up that conversation to have, and why I believe what I believe. Another one for me, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but I look young for my age, so that usually gets asked about me a lot, and so I tell them, they always want to know what my secret is, and I just flat out tell them, I don't do drugs, I don't drink alcohol, just live a clean life, and that usually opens up why I believe that, and I can show them, in the Bible where it says that. Another, we're always familiar with a quote, I'm sure we've probably heard of it before, but the church isn't a museum of saints, it's a hospital for sinners, and that's what we want to show the world. It's more of a rehabilitation program as opposed to a hospital, but the idea is, we're all in this together. We're all in this world, and we all need help, and that's what we want the church to be like, evangelizing to the lost and growing the kingdom of God. And when we do have the kingdom of God on our minds, first and foremost, and all the blessings will come, Matthew 6:33. Brother Elwood had a good message of hope last month, and that's what we want to share with others, that there is hope in this world, and this world isn't all there is. We can't be selfish of that hope. We got to share it with the world. And again, as I said earlier, these ideas aren't guaranteed to work, but if we're not using any of them, they're guaranteed not to work. And I hope that's not an option when it comes to evangelizing. It's probably a bad analogy, but say our spiritual life is on a scale of 1 to 10, or really 0 to 10, 0 being spiritually separated from God, and 10 being a truly faithful Christian. We're just here to plant seeds. So maybe our job is to only get someone from a 1 to a 2, or a 7 to an 8. It's not our job to give the increase. That's God's job. So we need to have that. We need to remember that we're just here to plant the seeds and maybe water it a little bit, but it doesn't have to be this big thing. We're not here to convert people. That's God's job. We're just here to show them what God is and what He does, what He's done in our lives. As I said before, I grew up here. I don't really have this big conversion story. There's always those people that were addicted to drugs for 20 years. Maybe that's your way to utilize it, but to show them that what Jesus has done in their lives. Tell your story and get that word out there. That's how the first century did it. The first century church, that's how it spread so much, is they were talking about Jesus. There wasn't this inviting them to church or anything that kind of is wishy-washy. I don't really like that saying, because it kind of puts it all on the preacher, and it's really not the preacher's job. In fact, one person I did survey in research said that their preacher just does the evangelism, and it's not really his job. It's all of our jobs. We're all commanded to preach and to teach every creature out there that what we're about and what God is about, and to show them with our good deeds, and to hopefully they will glorify God as well, to help grow this kingdom that we have. Think about a time that you were forgiven. This huge weight lifted off of you. But imagine someone being forgiven of their past sins how much more and how much better they would feel. That's what God is, and that's what we're here to preach. And so maybe you haven't been living this way, maybe you haven't been teaching, or maybe you've sinned in some way that, we know that we can pray to God and ask His forgiveness. If it's more public in nature, we do encourage you to come forward and to make it known and, help us to be the family of God, and we'll pray with you and for you. If you're not a Christian here tonight, we know that this is the message that we preach: Christ and Him crucified. He came to this world, this perfect man, was falsely accused, sentenced to death, and died a cruel death, gave His broken body and shed His blood for each and every one of us. And that's what we continue to preach. It doesn't change with any culture or nation. It's the same here, today, and tomorrow, and forever. And so if you're ready to be baptized for the forgiveness of your sins, we do encourage you to come forward as together we stand and sing.